Now, A$AP Rocky is charged with 2 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, and he's accused of firing a gun in 2021 at his former friend known as A$AP Relly.
Shocking news just in. Rihanna is reportedly devastated as A$AP Rocky's trial takes a turn for the worst.
This morning, a key witness is taking the stand again in rapper A$AP Rocky's gun trial.
His superstar girlfriend, Rihanna, is also in court, sitting alongside his family. Eyewitness News reporter Jaysha Patel joins us live from downtown L.A. with the latest on today's court proceedings.
With the rap star facing up to 24 years behind bars, tensions are rising, and sources close to the couple say Rihanna is struggling to hold it all together.
Philip Giovanna, A$AP Rocky showed up to court a little more than an hour ago, and we were waiting outside of the courthouse. So let's go straight to the video of him entering the building. You can see that he entered in from behind the courthouse.
How did things escalate to this point?
We know that Rihanna, like you mentioned, who is also a famous music artist and A$AP Rocky's partner and mother of their 2 kids, is currently in court right now to show her support, sitting between A$AP Rocky's mother and sister.
And what does this mean for their family and future? Stay tuned, because we're breaking down all the exclusive details in today's Deep.
Relly, who is back on the stand right now, testified yesterday, saying his friendship with Rocky was strained.
The charges and plea deal. Why A$AP Rocky said. The courtroom drama surrounding A$AP Rocky is getting intense.
Relly claims he overheard Rocky say slurs and swear words while he was in a car with a mutual friend the day before the alleged incident, and he claims it was over a speakerphone, which Rocky didn't seem to know about. Relly said they agreed to meet up to talk things out, but claims Rocky started shouting and grabbing him before he walked away. And this morning in court, Relly said he followed Rocky down the street and claims he knew Rocky had a gun, but he says since they were in a public area, he didn't think Rocky would shoot at him.
Prosecutors offered him what many are calling a sweetheart deal: plead guilty to 1 felony count, avoid serious jail time, and walk away with just a suspended sentence, anger management classes, and community service.
But he claims Rocky turned around and shot at him and then fired a second shot moments later.
Sounds like an easy way out, right? But Rocky refused. This shocking decision has divided the internet.
Relly claims his knuckles were grazed in that incident. Now, the defense argues that Relly was the aggressor and that Rocky fired a starter pistol to break up the fight.
Some fans are furious, calling it a reckless move that could put his entire future and his family with Rihanna at risk.
They say Rocky carries that starter pistol for security and that it's a prop.
Others, however,
this morning they're reviewing surveillance footage from that alleged incident. And back out here live, if convicted, A$AP Rocky faces up to 24 years in prison.
Believe this is a sign of his innocence. After all, why would he plead guilty if he truly didn't do it? And here's where things get even messier. People are now drawing major comparisons to the Tory Lanez case. Remember, Tory also refused to take a plea deal in his shooting case with Megan Thee Stallion, and he ended up with 10 years behind bars. Could Rocky be heading down the same road? Or does he have a solid defense that will clear his name? Stay with us, because next, we're diving into the evidence and the key players in this trial. What really happened? The night that changed everything. This case isn't as clear-cut as it seems. A$AP Rocky is accused of pulling out a gun and firing at A$AP Relly after a heated argument. But here's where things get complicated. According to reports, the fight broke out over funeral expenses for a deceased A$AP mob member. Tensions were already high, and things quickly escalated between Rocky and Relly. But did it really end in gunfire? That's the big question. Surveillance footage does show a scuffle between the two, but here's the catch. It's unclear whether Rocky ever pulled the trigger. In fact, when police first investigated the scene, they found zero evidence of gunfire. No bullets, no casings, nothing. Then, out of nowhere days later, Relly suddenly discovers shell casings and brings them to the police. Suspicious? Rocky's legal team definitely thinks so, calling it a setup to take down the rapper. But if there's no concrete evidence, how is this trial even moving forward? Well, things are about to get even more controversial. Up next, we'll break down the key witnesses and shocking testimonies that could make or break this case. Jury controversy. Is A$AP Rocky getting a fair trial? As if this case wasn't already sparking debate, the jury selection process has now thrown even more fuel on the fire. Out of the 12 jurors, 7 are women and 5 are men. But here's the shocking part. Not a single juror is black. This revelation has outraged many, with civil rights leaders stepping in to call out the system. Reverend Al Sharpton has been particularly vocal, demanding that Rocky be given a fair trial with a jury of his peers. His argument: a jury that doesn't reflect the racial or cultural background of the accused could lead to bias, especially in a case that's already filled with doubt and conflicting evidence. Fans are now asking, is this justice? Or is A$AP Rocky being set up for a trial that was never fair to begin with? Some even fear he could be made an example of, much like other black celebrities who have faced high-profile legal battles. But here's where things get even more intense. Some reports suggest that the prosecution has been pushing a narrative that could sway the jury against Rocky. What exactly are they saying? And could this be the real reason Rocky rejected the plea deal? Stay locked in, because up next, we're uncovering the prosecution's strategy and how they plan to take Rocky down. Rocky's defense strategy, can he beat the case? With so much on the line, A$AP Rocky's legal team isn't backing down. They've crafted a defense strategy that aims to discredit Relly and poke holes in the prosecution's claims. And let's just say, they're coming in strong. First and foremost, Rocky's lawyers argue that A$AP Relly isn't a victim, he's an opportunist. According to them, Relly has been jealous of Rocky's success and is only pushing this case for money and revenge. They claim Relly wants a huge payout from a civil lawsuit, which could explain why he waited days to report the alleged shooting. But the biggest bombshell? Rocky's team says he never fired a real gun at all. Instead, they claim it was a starter gun, a harmless firearm often used for training or to scare off threats. If true, this could completely undermine the prosecution's case, because even if Rocky did fire a shot, it wouldn't have been lethal. And here's where it gets even more complicated. There's no solid forensic evidence tying Rocky to the alleged shooting. No bullet wounds, no recovered bullets, and even the shell casings that mysteriously appeared days later aren't confirmed to be from a weapon linked to Rocky. So, with all these inconsistencies, why is the case still moving forward? Well, prosecutors have their own plan, and they're pulling out every trick in the book to convict him. Up next, we're breaking down the prosecution's strategy and how they plan to take Rocky down. The prosecution's strategy, how they plan to take A$AP Rocky down. The prosecution is coming in hard, determined to convince the jury that Rocky is guilty, and they've lined up some serious claims to back their case. Their main argument? A$AP Rocky did fire a gun, and it wasn't just any gun. It was a 9mm semi-automatic pistol. They claim this wasn't just an intimidation move or a warning shot. He deliberately fired at A$AP Relly during their heated altercation. To back this up, they presented a ballistics report, a key piece of forensic evidence that they say proves a gun was fired that night. But here's the catch. Rocky's legal team only got 1 day to review it. That's an incredibly short time to analyze such crucial evidence, which has led many to question whether the prosecution is rushing the process to corner Rocky. But perhaps the most damaging piece of evidence is a 911 call from a so-called witness who claims they saw Rocky fire the gun. However, this is where things get shaky. The police never found a weapon in Rocky's possession, and there's still no clear forensic proof linking him to the shooting. So, is this enough for the jury to convict? Or is the prosecution relying on circumstantial evidence to build a case that isn't as strong as they want people to believe? One thing's for sure, this trial is turning into a legal war zone. And with Rihanna and their 2 kids in the mix, the stakes have never been higher for Rocky. Up next, we're diving into how Rihanna is reacting to all of this, and why sources say she's emotionally struggling. Rihanna's heartbreak, the emotional toll on her and their family. This trial isn't just affecting A$AP Rocky, it's tearing Rihanna apart. Sources close to the singer say she's been devastated ever since the trial began, struggling to cope with the thought of Rocky facing up to 24 years in prison. If convicted, he wouldn't just miss a few months. He could be gone for decades, missing out on their children's first steps, birthdays, and countless precious moments. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time she's had to endure this nightmare. When Rocky was first arrested in 2022, Rihanna was heavily pregnant, and the stress of his legal troubles nearly triggered early labor. The fear and anxiety of that moment never left her, and now, with the trial dragging on, she's once again caught in a whirlwind of fear, uncertainty, and exhaustion. On top of that, Rihanna is doing everything she can to hold it together for their 2 kids, all while managing her billion-dollar empire. Between parenting, running Fenty, and dealing with the relentless media coverage of the trial, sources say she's emotionally drained, struggling to balance it all while trying to stay strong for her family. But behind the scenes, many are wondering, how much more can she take? Will she continue to stand by Rocky no matter what happens? Or could this trial put a strain on their relationship that's too much to overcome? Up next, we'll break down what's next for Rocky and Rihanna, and whether there's any chance he can walk away from this trial a free man. Key takeaways: what this trial means for A$AP Rocky and Rihanna. This case is shaping up to be one of the most high-stakes celebrity trials in recent history, and the outcome could change everything for A$AP Rocky, Rihanna, and their family. Here's what we know so far. Rocky is facing serious prison time, up to 24 years, but despite the risks, he refuses to take a plea deal that would have kept him out of jail. His decision has sparked major debate, with fans divided on whether it was brave or reckless. Fairness is being questioned. From the lack of black jurors to the prosecution's last-minute evidence dumps, many believe Rocky isn't getting a fair trial. Some even fear he could be made an example of, much like other high-profile black celebrities who have faced legal battles. Weak hard evidence, but damaging witness claims. The prosecution is heavily relying on witness testimony, including a 911 call, yet no gun was ever found in Rocky's possession. Meanwhile, his defense argues that Relly has a financial motive, and without forensic proof, can the case really hold up? Rihanna is struggling under the pressure. She's been through emotional turmoil before, but this trial is pushing her to the limit. Between raising their 2 children, running a billion-dollar empire, and now dealing with the looming possibility of losing Rocky for decades, sources say she's exhausted. And here's the biggest thing to remember: this trial is still unfolding. With cameras inside the courtroom, the entire world is watching as this legal battle takes twists and turns that no one saw coming. Will Rocky beat the case? Or will the prosecution's strategy send him away for years? One thing's for sure, the drama is just beginning. Stay locked in, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Eyes 100 points.